Hi everyone, welcome back to the Be Easy podcast. My name is Lindsey Beasley, and this is a podcast about knitting, crochet, and vintage, and as Katie from Inside Number 23 says, pretty much well my crafty life. And this is Odd Cat, who wants to run away now. I'm talking to you from St. Louis, Missouri, and it is, what's the date? Monday, February 5th. It has been quite a while since I've podcasted, and I'm sorry for that. It's been about 4 weeks, and this is about the third time that I've recorded a podcast, so this would be the normal one, well, the next one after 3, so technically this should be number 4, but it's number 3, so I'm combining 3 and 4, so this is 3 plus 4. To kind of get some of these things that I've been saving up for number 4 put away, because it's been 4 weeks since I podcasted last. That's kind of a roundabout way to get to that point, but that's my point. So I'm sorry that it's taken me so long. January is always a difficult month for me because I have really bad allergies. And you guys are going to have to bear with me because the dogs are in the house because it snowed yesterday and it's pretty cold outside. So they're pretty loud. I'm going to try and keep their noise to a minimum. And the earthquakes to a minimum, but I don't know how well that's going to work. But January is always pretty hard for me because I have some pretty bad allergies. And I just basically haven't been able to get my act together to podcast because I've been very sluggish and tired because of my breathing issues from my allergies. So on we go into whips and hose. So what do I want to talk about first? Let's talk about this one. So this is one of my Christmas sweaters for my nieces and nephews next year. I talked about it a little bit in the first podcast. I'm going to be making 3 Christmas sweaters this year, and then next year I'll make the other 3 because I have 6 nieces and nephews. Yeah, there's a lot of kids in my family. But this is Lincoln's Christmas sweater. Here's the swatch. There you go. That's the swatch for Lincoln's Christmas sweater. This yarn is handy dandy knitting notebook, knitting journal. This is This is the tag from the yarn. So it's I love this yarn, stone washed in dark gray, because I don't want to give my brother-in-law the sweater and have him ruin it because he's not a hand wash kind of guy. Let's put it that way. So it's made out of acrylic because Lincoln's 3 and I just didn't want it to end up ruined pretty much. So that's the swatch. I was super excited about the swatch because it was, the gauge was right on the first try. And no, I did not wash or block the swatch because it is acrylic and it's pretty much well self-blocking, 1. And 2, it doesn't change a whole hell of a lot because it's plastic. I mean, it doesn't have much movability there. But in my experience, there's the swatch. It's pretty nice. It's soft. It's not like some acrylics can be, like Red Heart can be. Red Heart Super Saver can be, or uber cheap acrylic yarn can be. But here's what I got so far. It's Lincoln sweater is living in my Steel City Stitcher bag, which I bought purely because it's teal on the inside. The pattern I'm using for a sweater is called Big Tom by Jenny Wiebe. It's W-I-E-B-E. And there's that. Try not to show too much of the pattern. That's what it looks like. Got a cute little button band, just a simple raglan sweater. It's really cute. I'm really happy with what it's looking like. And it's really easy to follow pattern. So if this is like your first sweater, you'd be golden. It's so easy to follow this pattern. Here you go. There is Lincoln's Christmas sweater so far. So I've gotten just below the armhole there. You can't really see it. But this is what I got so far. It looks really good. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. The stitches look great. And it is on a US 7. If I can find it. I don't know what the millimeters is. I'm sorry. It's a US 7, and it's on my Knit Picks interchangeable needles that my husband got me for Christmas this past year. And then this stitch marker, this cool brass diamond stitch marker, is from Riv Creative. And she's riv.creative on Etsy. So this, not this weekend that's gone, but the weekend before, I went to see my mother-in-law because it was her birthday weekend, and Lincoln was over with my brother-in-law, and they had Christmas for him finally, and he finally got to open all of his Christmas presents. He was so excited. He was a little confused at first, like, why is everybody giving me presents? But after he started opening, he's like, oh yeah, toys. My mother-in-law and father-in-law got Lincoln a space blaster, like a light-up space blaster, and he loved that thing. It was so funny. It's one of those classic toys that you think, oh, no, but he loved it. My husband was telling his stepbrother, hey, in the back of your car on the way home, if you let him have that, it's probably going to look like a disco in there. Pretty funny. So the next whip that I have is living in my Clever Hounds creation bag. Creations, plural. And it is an Alice in Wonderland bag, which I bought purely because it had this guy on it. This is Bill. Now, if you know the story of Alice in Wonderland, when Alice is in the White Rabbit's house and he calls her Mary Ann, and she I forget whether she ate, I think she ate something. She got really big, and the White Rabbit sends this guy Bill, his maintenance man, down the chimney to get Alice out of the house. And she puts her foot up the chimney, up the firebox, and kicks him up out of the chimney. Well, that's him. That's Bill, the lizard. And then it also had the mock turtle, and then the lobster, like from the Lobster Quadrille. And these are my favorite characters in the whole book, aside from the story of the walrus and the carpenter, and I think that's in the Looking Glass. So those are my all-time favorite characters from Alice in Wonderland, which is why I bought this bag. I need it in my life. Alright, so these are a pair of socks for me. Find the yarn tag. I know it's in here because I put it in here. And they are in Nomadic Yarns. In their Brit sock, which is 80% BFL, which is Blue Face Leicester, and 20% nylon, and the colorway is Gives Me Goosebumps, and they are on a US 1 2.25 millimeter, and here's the color. Love this yarn. It's great. It's so beautiful. The stitch definition is great. That comes from the yarn, but I also think it's from these needles. This is my first pair of Luca, whatever the hell you call them, needles. I just call them happy needles because apparently that's what the name means in Finnish. They're the driftwood needles, and they're really great. I'm always worried that I'm going to break them, though. Like, I seriously sometimes feel like I'm going to break these things because they're so bendy because they're birch, which is really, really soft wood and flexible, apparently. So, we'll see what happens. Maybe the thicker ones, the higher needle sizes are better. But these ones scare the crap out of me. But there's the sock. This is just a vanilla sock for me. I'm a vanilla sock kind of person. I don't like knitting patterns on socks. I feel like socks are just supposed to be something easy to knit, and patterns kind of bog me down. So Even though it takes me forever to do these too. So either way you swing it, right? But these are just going to be a pair of shorty socks for me because I like wearing shorty socks a lot. And I haven't made a pair in quite a while. So that is those. Here's the skein all caked up. It's kind of fantastic. I had a knot in the middle. That's why it's all wrapped like that. Because I didn't wind it well. My bad. My next whip is my stripy socks for me, and they are living in my Katie Beth Creates Hold On to Your Butts Clever Girl bag. It's a Jurassic Park bag. It's got the mosquito and amber and the two pink and green raptors on it, and it's supposed to have the dude that says Hold On to Your Butts on it too, but I didn't get that one, which is purely why I wanted it, but oh well. So the last time you guys saw these were on 2 separate needles yet, and my mom was in she was in a hit and run accident about a month ago, and not a bad one, just she was rear-ended and the dude drove off, and there you go. And he kind of messed up the back end of her van, and my parents were planning on getting a new car this month anyway, but the insurance company wound up totaling out their vehicle, so they wound up getting a new vehicle even sooner than they thought. So they got their new car yesterday, but while they were still looking for it, they invited me to go with them to lunch one day, and they stopped at a dealership, and while they were stopped at a dealership, I knit. There you go. This is what happened. So the last podcast that I recorded and then summarily deleted, which is why I'm recording 3 and 4 together, is, this is where I was. So that's where I was for 3. This is where I am for 4. There you go. And this yarn is Knit Pick Stroll Sapphire Heather, the blue, and then the rainbow. I don't know what that one is exactly. It was just a scrappy ball that was in a fiber share package I got last year. The stitch marker here, if you can see it, come on, quit blowing it out. Come on, there you go. Kind of see it. Is unicorn poop, rainbow unicorn poop, and it's a Corner of Crafts stitch marker. I love her stuff. Her stuff's great. I can't wait till she does Halloween stuff again because I didn't get a Halloween one last year, and I'm kind of sad that didn't happen. So, but these are just, again, a vanilla sock. These are probably going to be a 6 to 7 inch cuff, probably 6.5. Split the difference. And I just did a pearl ridge here because, I don't know, thought it sounded like a good idea at the time. So that's what happened. And these are on an Addy, which, not really that fond of. I like my Chiao Goos. Probably keep using Chiao Goos. I just want to try something for fun, I guess. I was going to say something else, but I'm trying to keep my language under control. But we'll see how that goes. And these are on, again, a 1 and a 2.25 millimeter. A US 1, 2.25 millimeter. But those are my next pair of socks. This guy that was sticking out of the top of the bag is my sock ruler that my husband bought me. It's really great for socks, especially when you do heel and gusset, because it makes life easy to measure the foot. Because you just stick that bit in the heel, and then the foot lays over the top, and you measure it. There you go. It's also great for mittens, too, to make sure that they are the correct length. Woo! All the sock whips are done. I need to finish one of them so I can start something else, because I'm not starting something else for me until I finish one of those pairs of socks. We'll see how that goes. So this one is my Daydreamer shawl. I've been working on it for quite a while. I am trying to finish it. Where is the picture of the pattern I want to use? Aha! And it is by the Daydreamer shawl by Annie Hass. This Bird Knits Designs. This is the Daydreamer shawl. You see all that lovely lace and garter on there. I love the texture of the shawl. For me, picking this yarn was more about what the... Picking the shawl was more about what the yarn needed than what I needed, because it was so pretty, it had to be showed off. It was going to be mittens for my mom, but then I decided, nope, it's too pretty for that. So now it's a shawl, and now my mom wants it. And I think I might give it to her. Maybe. We might share. It's usually what happens, but it's also got a stitch marker on it. This guy is a rainbow sheep. And this guy's from the Corner of Craft too. You can find her on Etsy. And she's got a great Instagram too. So look it up. So when I podcasted last time, the stitch marker was somewhere in here. It was quite a ways away from where it is now. But I moved it because I thought, hey, I record my podcast. I should move my stitch marker. Yeah. So, I only have three more lace repeats, I think. 3 more lace rows, not repeats. 1 full repeat plus a row, because I got distracted by something last night on YouTube. And then a knit row and a bind off. And that's it. And I'm done. And yeah, this shawl, by the time it's done, is about, it's just shy of 300. No, I think it's over 300 stitches. So it's pretty big. It's a pretty big old shawl. But I had 3 skeins of the Homespun Girls DK white yarn in Tidal Pool. And that's it right there. It's very pretty. It's definitely my colors, that's for sure. My mom's too. She wants to steal it. She probably will. I'm okay with that, I guess. But that's what it looks like. I love it. It's gorgeous. The texture is perfect. It's a bit sheepy of a wool, that's for sure. It's 100% wool. It's not something that I'm afraid of having against my skin. So like here, it's not going to bother me there. But this guy is so pretty, and it showcases this yarn so well. It suits it so much. I'm glad I picked this pattern. Excuse me. And that's my Daydreamer shawl, which is almost done, thank goodness. I'm ready to start something else. There is that guy. And I'm knitting that on a Chiaogu size 8, 5.0 millimeter, which is what the pattern called for. I don't swatch for shawls like most people who knit. I don't swatch for anything but sweaters. Sorry. I don't. It's just one of those things I don't do. Woo! That was my knitting whips. So my next whip really is a crochet whip. Now this is a long suffering whip. I started this one about 2 years ago. And it's taken me forever to do it because I'm using scraps. So, as you do. I have about 2 scrappy blankets, and I'm not allowed to start another one until I finish one of them. So, it's living in my Totoro bag. I got this bag at Star Clipper, which is a really, really popular and well-known comic shop here in St. Louis. And I got this when it was still in the Del Mar Loop. The Del Mar Loop is a really big shopping area. It's kind of a neat little street. St. Louis is all about the street districts. air quotes, business districts. And Star Clipper was originally on the Del Mar Loop. But after the owners decided to sell it, the new ones moved it downtown to Washington Street, which is another shopping district. And apparently it's changed a lot. So. This is from the original. Anywho, here is my granny square blanket. Trying to find the crochet hook in it. Yes, I do that a lot. I do that with knitting needles too. So this is my granny square blanket. It's not very big. It doesn't have very much in it. And that's not the top. That's the bottom. But here it is. Pretty colors. Yay. No, this is not all wool. I know. Boo on me. But it's mostly acrylic because I don't want to waste stuff. Who wants to waste stuff? Especially yarn. Yarn's expensive. I don't care who you are. It can be a $25 skein yarn. It can be a $6 skein yarn, which most of this is. That shit's expensive, and I like to use it as much as I can. Excuse my language. So these are just scraps from various things. Like this is from the pumpkins that I make. This is just a random ball of yarn somebody gave me because they thought I needed it. And this one was a narwhal. Mostly a narwhal. This one is, I made a scarf out of it for my mother-in-law for Christmas. There are just a lot of pretty colors in here. I really love this gray with the blue sparklies in it. But I started working on this about 2 years ago. It's just a simple granny stripe blanket pattern. And it's Attic 24's pattern, like everyone uses. And I just put 4 rows in it. I was here at this black multicolored stripe, purpley orangey stripe, and I put 4 rows in it, and there you go. Because my bag was getting a little full as far as scraps go. And this guy is big enough for a twin bed. Well, it will be big enough for a twin bed. I'm going to put some granny squares around the edge of it and put an edge on it. When it's all said and done, sorry, my nose itches. And I'm hoping that it might one day grace the bed of mine and my husband's kid, if we have one. So, that is my, one of 2, which maybe you'll see eventually. I don't know if I want to show that or not. It's one of the first things I started making, so I don't know if I want to share it. One of 2 of my long-suffering whips. So. And I have another scrappy blanket that I want. 2 scrappy blankets that I really want to make. So there is that guy. Alright. On to purchases, I think. / kind of a whip. So I'll do this one first. So I got a skein of Madeline Tosh sock in the Modern Fair Isle colorway from a D-Stash I saw on Instagram. Here's the colorway. It's very, very pretty. I love this yarn. I saw this yarn when I got it, and I thought, that's going to be a sweater. But I need 4 more of them. And they're kind of scattered all over the place. So it's going to be my Puntilla sweater. I love this sweater. I love the little detail around the bottom and the cuffs. It's very cute. So I'm really excited about that. But, of course, it's a fingering weight sweater and it's going to take forever. And I'm sorry the dogs are doing what they do. Moving around and what they do. So I made a swatch for it. There's my swatch. I did wash and block this one. The gauge is about what I thought it would be. Not perfect, but to be honest, it'll work. Because I was going to knit a smaller size anyway. So this guy is more stitches per inch than what the pattern calls for. So I was going to make a smaller one, a smaller size than what I normally need anyway, because the sweater has 10 to 12 inches of positives in it. I don't want to wear a tent. Okay? Tents just do not look right on me. I'm a plus size girl and I need a little bit of structure in my garments. Or a little bit tighter of a fit. Otherwise I just look like I'm wearing a dress or a muumuu. Because I'm also quite short. So I was going to do the smaller size anyway. So because I'm doing a smaller size, it'll give me enough ease in the smaller size and make it work. So we'll see what happens, I guess. Either it will or it won't, and if it doesn't, well, Christmas gift for someone. It's a lot of work for a Christmas gift, but hey. Live and learn, right? So that was my one of my episode number 3 purchases, because this section is now called purchases and not acquisitions, because I just don't like calling it acquisitions. So meh, it's my podcast. Meh. So we'll do number 3 acquisitions, episode number 3 purchases, and then we'll do number 4 purchases, because that makes sense to me. So, along with my purchases for episode 3, I got some more yarn. I got 3 skeins of Knit Picks yarn. I also got some cords for my interchangeable needles, which are over there and I forgot. And I'm not going to get them. Sorry, I'm lazy like that. They are 240s and 260s. And I also got a chart that's really cool. It's called Sock It To Me. And it has US, European, and Mexican sizes for socks, for shoes. And it converts the shoe size to foot length in inches and centimeters. So you don't have to measure people's feet anymore. It's really cool. And I got that from Knit Picks too. And it was like $2, something like that. Go get one. They're totally worth it. So I also got these guys with that order. I order from Knit Picks probably about every other week. Not gonna lie. And this guy is a Knit Picks Felici in Treehouse. This is the color my nephew picked for his tube socks. This guy is Sonora Sunset. This is for my niece. And this guy is the complementary color for this guy, which is just a Patton's Croix FX sock yarn in Cascade that my mother-in-law gave me for Christmas. So it's going to be socks for one of my nephews. Use what you got, people. And this guy is a Stroll Fingering in Dusk. I'm making 6 pairs of tube socks for Christmas for my nieces and nephews. I know, the person who isn't really great about finishing socks in a timely manner is going to make 6 tube socks. Really? Really no. We'll see what happens, I guess. Either it will or it won't, or I'll do some and not finish the rest. Who knows? Okay. This is my last purchase, I believe. Right? Yeah. For episode 3. This is a bag that I got from Little Skein in the Big Wool. There's her tag. And it's called Prince Edward Island something. I don't remember what. All I cared about was the fact that it was Anne of Green Gables. See Anne and Bleach? And I love that. And then on the inside it has quotes from the book. I'm a big Anne of Green Gables fan. Maybe I'll show it to you sometime. My antique book collection is founded on a copy of Anne of Green Gables from 1916 that my grandmother's aunt my great-grandmother's aunt gave to her for Christmas. And it's a copy of Anne of Green Gables. And it was 8 years after the book was first published, which is really cool. So it's like the 39th impression of Anne of Green Gables. And it's one of my favorite things that I have antique-wise. But I really love this bag. And I also really love the new show, Anne with an E. Great show. Wonderful. You should watch it. It's really awesome. But I really love this bag. It's not too bad. I guess the only thing that I'm not too fond of is the drawstring, because it is untreated grosgrain ribbon, and as you can see, it's fraying, because that's what grosgrain ribbon does. It does nothing but fray. And then it has this unmatching ugly toggle on it. Other than that, I really love this bag. I think it's beautifully made. The stitches are wonderful. The fabric is great. I mean, it's a little wrinkled right now, but as far as that's my fault, not hers. But it's beautifully made. I'd totally buy another bag from Little Skein and Big Wool. And Anne's bags are great. My only thing is that I am going to change that. That's going to go away. I'm going to get a canvas cord from Joann's when I go to Joann's again. I haven't been in quite a while. It's probably a good thing. And I'm going to put a canvas cord on it instead of that and put a new toggle on it, because I don't like the one that's on it. So there's that. Okay. Now we're going to do episode 4's purchases, because this is what I would have shown in episode 4. Seeing as we're combining it. So I got some yarn. Oh, this is a long story. So I was hesitant to buy this yarn from where I bought it. I purchased this yarn from Love Knitting, which is a pretty popular online website for inexpensive or discounted knitting, crochet, that sort of stuff. They have Love Crochet too. And I was very hesitant to purchase this from them, because the last time I bought something from them, it was some needles, and they were not what I thought they were, because they weren't advertised as what they were, which was a plastic knitting needle, DPNs no less. And then on top of it, it took over a month for me to get them. Not even kidding. Over a month. They guarantee 10-day delivery. And at 10 days, I began trying to contact them. I called them. I emailed them. I did this for days. The only reason that they ended up calling me or emailing me back was because I had to send them a message on their Facebook about the fact that my order had not arrived, and it had been almost 6 weeks. At which point, they returned my money, or tried to. It took them another 2 weeks to refund my money to PayPal. Yeah, I was not happy with Love Knitting at all. But this is a yarn that I saw, and I really liked it. And they had it on sale for $2, and it's West Yorkshire Spinners. And it's in their Rum Paradise colorway, I think is what it's called. And it's a sock weight yarn. I don't know why it says Essential Aran. Because this does not feel like Aran weight yarn. It really doesn't. Especially since I was supposed to get sock yarn, so it better be sock yarn. Otherwise, we're really going to have an issue. Love Knitting website. I hate them. I'm probably never going to buy anything from them again, because this also took 3 weeks to get. Yeah. So, there's that one. Next one is this really, really hilarious bag. So I'm not a big Valentine's Day fan, and this just speaks to my soul. I've never really been a Valentine's Day fan. I think it's kind of silly. My husband proposed to me the day after Valentine's Day because he knew how much I disliked Valentine's Day, and that was the day he had off. So that got lucky there. But I probably still wouldn't like it otherwise. My husband is a big romantic. He's very much a romantic. I am not. Not in the least. He brings me flowers on the regular, especially this time of year. He regularly brings me home like a gas station rose. It's like a running joke. He brings me one rose. Usually when one dies, he gets me another one. It's really cute. And I love him for it dearly. But this is my Valentine's Day, anti-Valentine's Day bag. It's a single forever. Where's the meh? Oh, there it is. It's toast. It says meh. Kills me. I love it. And it says Queen of Knitting on it. This is from Quilt Knit Craft on Etsy. And I like this bag. It's not bad. I don't really care for that odd colored twill handle. If you're gonna make a handle, make it the same color. Come on now. But whatever. In it, oh, here's the card. Huh. There's the card for it. There you go. And she also sent me this lovely little mini. And I mean, it's got a boxed bottom. It's pretty nice. You can maybe not. I wouldn't roll it down. It doesn't have batting in between the layers, which typically is a bag that I like. I like when they have the squish in between and not just fabric interface fabric, and it's got the white inside. But for what it is, it's very nice. I like it quite a bit. I like the fabric a lot. The fabric makes me laugh so much. Okay, so there's that one. This is another thing that I got. Did I get that out? I didn't get that out. I missed one. This is another thing that I got for episode 4. This is Sven Scandinavian, a knitting friend. So this pattern is one that's been growing again in popularity. I think it comes in waves for this one. It's from Cottage Creations. You have to buy the actual book. They do not do digital download of this pattern. And it was printed in 1983, and it's still pretty popular. I think it's growing in popularity because the Hague movement, Hygge. There's a whole book about it. It's like the Swedish or the Scandinavian version of cozy and comforting, and knitting is a big part of that, which is why I think he's becoming popular again. He's very cute. I'm hoping to make one for me because I just want one and I threw him on the floor. Sorry, Sven. My bad. So this is my last thing for episode 4. And this is from Asphalt Flicken Designs, and they're in Sweden. Believe it or not, shipping from the United States to Sweden is cheaper from the United States to England. Not even kidding. It's a lot cheaper. So I don't have a problem buying things from Sweden. England, shipping's astronomical. But here's the yarn. It's very cool. When it's worked up, it's got like a faded kind of pattern in the stripes. Like when you go to the stripes, it's dark and then it fades to a light in the middle of the stripe and then goes to the dark again and then goes to the next color. It is very cool when it's knit up. I've seen these on the Fiber Friends podcast. Adrian was working on a pair of socks made out of this, and I just said, I had thought about buying it before, but after I saw it on the podcast, it was like, buying that. So I bought some. They have another one that I really want. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you might go and buy it. And I don't want you to because I won't. It's a Doctor Who color. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's very cool. But there's that guy. And it's $75.25. And I'm hoping it's not super soft, but it's nice. It's not bad. See, look at that color. See how it turns to light? See how it gets light? The saturation is not as heavy in the middle. Yeah, that's very cool. And I got one more, but I gotta get it out of my cabinet real quick. So this is the other one that I got. It's called Savvy Skeins. Again, I saw this on the Fiber Friends podcast. Adrian again had a skein from them called At the Sidewalk's End or When the Sidewalk Ends or something like that, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to Shel Silverstein. I've been a Shel Silverstein fan since I was a little kid. Love his books. They're great. I love his poems and everything. And decided that I needed to get a skein of it. And somehow wound up not getting that and getting this one. And I went back to get the other one, and I wish I got it when I got this one because it was not there. It's very sad. Maybe they'll have it again. But I got this from the Loopy U, which is a yarn shop in Colorado. Support small yarn shops. And the shipping was great. It was really fast. They were super nice. The emails were all great. And I would definitely buy yarn from them again. So that's the Loopy U. You can just Google. But this one's called Laguna. And their Sensible Sock, which is 80/20 again. And I just really love the colors. It's going to stripe up really beautifully. It's definitely going to be a pair of socks, though. See that great scummy green in there? Love it. Can't wait to use that one. So, and I'm winging this, so it's kind of disjointed. My bad. Those were the two biggest sections of the podcast. Now here's section number 3. Finished objects. Because, you know, having things in an order that makes sense apparently is not what's happening today. Yeah, that's my life. There you go. I'm sorry for the crinkle, but you're going to have to deal with it because these things are living in a gigantic IKEA bag. So this is finished objects / work knitting for the most part because that's basically what I'm finishing these days is work knitting. So what I mean when I say work knitting is that these are items that are going to be for my business. So my business is Be Easy by Lindsey Beasley, also known as Be Easy by LB. And I make stitch markers, bags, and knit critters and headbands and stuff like that, accessories. And I sell them in my Etsy shop, which is Be Easy by Lindsey Beasley. And these are some of the newest things. I'm starting my prep for fall shows very early. I always start very early because I like to take my time and get done as much as I possibly can. Because this is my job. This is what I do. I don't have a day job. I work from home. My husband supports me for the most part, and I do what I can with my Be Easy business. I work very hard at it, and try and make as many things as I can that I think people will really love. So we'll start with snails, because that's where we were the last time. I had just finished snail bodies, the snail butts as I call them, the bottom part. And I just started working on the shells. Well, I finished them all but 2. Because apparently I made 13. Because, you know, I can't count, apparently. Fail. And I got very frustrated with one of them. Because I was finishing number 12. And was almost done. And the cat decided he needed to sit on me. And ripped the whole thing off my needles as I was Kitchenering it. Because, let me show you. To finish this, you Kitchener all the way down the back side of the shell. yeah, that's why they take so long, because you have to catch your 90 plus stitches together. Yeah. And the cat jumped up on me and pulled it off the needles, and it dropped stitches, and it basically effed it up. I got very frustrated and mad, and I threw it at the cat, and I said, these are going to go in the box, and I'm not going to do them right now because I don't have patience to do it. So I didn't. So there's only 11 snails done, which is fine by me. I still have 10 or so left from last season. So just building up my stock because, yeah, I can. But this is one of them. It's got this pretty purple shell and green butt. There's one. And there's another with this great green and blue and chartreuse kind of color shell. Green butt. There's another one. Here's teal shell. Isn't he fun? All the snails. And then there's this guy, who's really cool. I love this color. I don't care for the yellow. I'm not a big yellow kind of person. It's not my favorite color in the universe. And then here is this guy, who has a half and half shell. He kind of reminds me of the Seahawks a little bit. And he's got a green butt. They're so funny. Like, each and every one is just so expressive. So, these aren't necessarily going to go up in my Etsy shop at the moment. Maybe I'll put a couple up, but for the most part, I'm just making them and putting them up for next fall. So, those are not snails. There's another snail on a really ugly brown butt. I try to pick like the ugliest, grossest looking colors I possibly can for snail butts, because it's snails. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't they have ugly butts? And there's this guy with the red, and this guy with camo and an orange butt. Oh, and then here's this one. He's really cool. He's got this great neon shell with black on the back and then a green butt. So I finished up my snails and I started working on my next item, which is hedgehogs. These are my two most popular items. When I started making knit toys to sell, I just tried two things, and that was my snails and my hedgehogs, and they sold out. Oh my gosh, they sold so fast. It was great. And they still sell pretty well. So here are my hedgehogs. There's this guy who's camo, and he's got these cool stripes on him, and he's got stripes on his belly. And then pink and blue kind of guy, bluey purple, blurple kind of color. A primary colored one that's ginormic because it's a bulky yarn, not a worsted, because I use whatever I have. And then there's those two, and this one with their stripy butt and fuzz on them. I love when they end up like that. That cracks me up so much. Like the stripe on the decreases and then the color change on the decreases. I love that so much. And then I also want to show you my to-do list. There you go. So this is my to-do list. I have a goal of knitting all of these things for my shop, for my business by July 1st. Now, that deadline is basically all of my knit critters for all seasons, including the specialized ones for Halloween and Christmas, by July 1st, because I really want to do some Christmas and July knitting. I have plans to do something fun for the for Christmas for the shop, and I want to make some Christmas stockings for my husband and I for next year. And I kind of want to do that in July, just for Christmas in July, you know. Kind of fun. That, and there's lots of cows and stuff going on. So, but I have, there's my top ones right there. There you go. Moving right along, right? So that's it as far as content goes. Talk a little bit about stuff at you a little bit here. First thing I want to mention is social media, because I forgot to do it at the beginning. My bad. You can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active, as BeEasyByLB. You can also find me on Facebook, which I don't use very often. And there's now also a Ravelry group for the podcasts. Search Be Easy Podcast, because it's now the Be Easy Podcast, not Being Easy, because I thought that it would be easier to keep everything the same than have it be different strictly for that. Yeah, good reason, right? Also, last weekend was my husband's 29th birthday. He's 29. Oh, that makes me feel weird. He's 29. I'm going to be 27 next month, and that's freaking me out a little bit. I have Peter Pan syndrome. I had it since I was a little kid, when my teachers told my mother that they were concerned because I didn't know my letters and numbers, and they're like, well, didn't you work with her? My mom said, yeah, but she looked at me and said, Lindsay, tell them why you didn't want to learn your letters and numbers. I said, because I want to be like Peter Pan, and I'm going to be a little girl forever. True story. Not even kidding. And very much like that now as an adult. Half the time I don't feel like I'm old enough for anything. Don't feel like I'm an adult. I got ID'd last weekend at the movie theater and was like, that's the first in a long time. Haven't been ID'd in a very long time. So, my husband and I, and my best friend, whose birthday is the same day as my husband. I know, how lucky is that? Don't have to remember anything but one day. Woo! And we went and saw the new Gerard Butler movie, Den of Thieves, because Gerard Butler. That's all I got to say. Jody from The Grocery Girls and I have that same affinity. Gerard Butler. Yeah. He's adorable. Him and, what was it called? The one where he dies and his wife is left and he's Irish. Well, he is Irish anyways. But he was in his natural setting. He got to speak in his accent. And he played guitar and he sang to his wife and he was just... Yeah. Gerard Butler. Favorite actor ever. He's great. The movie was pretty good. I liked the twist at the end, which I'm not going to tell you about, because if you're going to see the movie, I don't want to ruin it for you. And had a good time with them, and there was apparently a winter dance or something at one of the local high schools, because all the kids in their formals were in the ice cream shop across the parking lot that we went to after the movie, and some of them needed to wear shorts, let's put it that way, because I did not want to see what I saw. There you go. Yeah. Too much information. And last weekend also we went to the St. Louis RV camper show, and we were able to get our brand new camper. I'm so excited. We get to go camping year round now. Woo! We have a small pop-up camper, which is, basically like sleeping on a tent on a trailer. It's basically the same thing. So there's no winter camping ever, because you'll freeze to death pretty much. And it's very small. We can't take all the dogs with us when we go camping because they're too big, and I'm afraid that they'll figure out a way to get out the sides of the canvas part of the tent, of the camper. So the new larger camper is going to definitely afford us the ability to take the dogs with us and to camp as much as we can during the year, because we really love camping. We met while we were camping, and it's just something that we both really, really enjoy. And I'm super excited that we were able to get a new camper. It's so cool. The awning has speakers on it. Well, there's a radio inside. You turn it on, and the awning has speakers so you can hear outside too. That's nifty. And the awning has LED color changing LED lights on it. We could have a party. Whoa. Oh gosh. So that's what's going on in my world. I hope you guys have a great week. Happy knitting. I'm going to keep knitting. I'm going to finish a shawl hopefully this week. We'll see what happens there. And hopefully I'll see you again in 2 weeks and we won't have to have a combined 5 and 6. We'll see what happens, I suppose. But have a good week. Happy knitting. Bye.